touchscreen. Yes. Okay, family. Should be live right now. It's gonna run a quick sound check and we'll be ready to work. Looks like we're on live. Okay, family. Should be live right now. Need the link. Just want to make sure the sound is good. Peace to the family. Once this sound is intact, I'll be in go mode. Just want to make sure the sound is good. Peace to the family. Sounds about right. Once this sound is intact, I'll be in go mode. I don't know what that is. Just want to make sure the sound is good. Peace to the family. Oh, okay. Sounds about right. All right. Give it about 2 more minutes. I just want to make sure everything's on the level. And we'll be good to go. Promise you. Just want to make sure everything's on the level. Please just let me know how it's sounding. If it's noise or. All right, people, I'm going to just monitor it so I know if I get cut off or the volume is disappearing out of nowhere. Okay? All right, we good. All right, family. So, we're on. I'm very happy that we got this thing together a lot quicker today. Please forgive me as YouTube has made a lot of changes. I bought some new technology today that could be integrated with YouTube so we can keep it private. And I just know this is a real good venue to use. Plus, I have to still use YouTube from time to time. Okay, so I wanted to find a software that could be integrated into YouTube. The issue with that is the fact that there's so many nuances and particulars. The bit rate, frames per second, attempting to use the 30-day free trial, which I believe was part of a lot of the madness. And then where I happened to be at, the internet service was not as good as I'm normally accustomed to being, because when I'm paying for amazing space, I expect them to have 5G internet. And so I went and got me a hotspot, paid for the software. Got a webcam. I ain't hooked up to this yet. I'm doing everything in my power to ensure the integrity of the video for the future. Today's class is very, very simple. Today's class, I didn't want to have a PowerPoint presentation. I wanted to have a free-for-all build because I want each class to have its own identity. By the time we get to class number 3, there may be a 4. It depends on how we feel and my feedback from different people after class 3. Because my whole goal is to make sure everybody can effectively employ everything that I'm teaching. I don't want people to just take notes and then be lost about what's the next move. That I don't want. Today's class was designed just for me to teach and have enough space to create. And then those of you that's in the chat room, if you have questions, I'll respond to them based on the chat room. Okay? So I got to pull that up from time to time. Pardon me. Let me make sure I get those things prepared where I can see the chat room. I want to make sure I can see that chat room. Give me a few. I want to make sure we get those things in. And I'm not going to do the questions now for the chat, but I want you to know before I close out, I will address the chat room. Today, I want you guys to be able to just take notes. When I do the PowerPoints, y'all don't really have to take too much notes. You walking with me? So I want you to have different types of learning taking place. That's what I want. I want you to learn in different ways. And so long as I can get you learning in different ways, that's going to help out a great deal. Okay. All right. So, let me make sure the lighting is what we want it to be. I want to make sure the lighting is where we need it to be. How's the lighting looking over there? It's good?
Yeah, it looks good. Just, yeah, that a little, just, it's your eyes is a little dark because of the shadow.
Oh, okay. We can do this. Brighter? A lot brighter. Okay. You know what? Hold on, people. We're going to get this right. family. So we're back. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover trust, insurance, and pensions. Very important. First thing that I'm going to do is go into Investopedia. Why do we want to go into Investopedia? Investopedia is one of the places that I suggest to all people when it's time to do the study. I always suggest that you download or you use as a resource on the internet, Investopedia, because they have very nice illustrations, very nice videos to help you connect with points. And they do it in a very powerful fashion with the illustrations. They got commentary, they got illustrations, and they also have videos. Oftentimes, you can get those three different variations of conveyance, and that's very powerful. So for Investopedia, it says tax deferred. The definition of tax deferred is status refers to investment earnings. Hold on. Tax deferred status refers to investment earnings such as interest, dividends, or capital gains that accumulate tax-free until the investor takes the constructive receipt of the profits. The most common type of tax-deferred investments include individual retirement accounts. Why is that very important? Individual retirement accounts. That's important. I'm going to tell you why. When you talk about individual retirement accounts, IRAs, it would be great if you had more control over those pensions. A lot of times people want to access money in their pensions. They're unable to on account of the fact there's so many different restrictions. So that puts you in a conundrum because in one instance you want to have taxes deferred. In another instance, you're not empowered with the ability to use the investment vehicle that pensions should be at your disposal. So that's an issue. That's a hardcore issue. And so we have a resolve for that. However, the number one thing that we need to have a conversation about today, remember, today's the day for you to take notes. We're going to connect these dots when Sunday comes. When Sunday comes, it's going to be fun. We're going to connect some major dots on Sunday. Dots that will be impossible to revoke. And the reason being is because on Sunday, we're going to go into the application. Sunday's application day. Sunday's the day we're going to show you where to go online. Sunday's the day we're going to show you where to make purchases. Sunday's the day we're going to get into a lot of the technical aspects of the information. That's going to be on Sunday. Okay? That's what we're doing on Sunday. So we talked about taxes being deferred. But honestly, before we do that, we must first realize the significance of being able to defer taxation before we go on to the pensions and all, and the insurance and the trust. The number one thing I want to make clear to people is a lot of us, when we're in the lower tax bracket, we really don't have any interest in paying taxes, or we have a very minimal account of taxation and the rules thereof. So let me say this. When you make your first million, it'll more likely be on your second million unless you've been empowered by someone who gave you great direction. The best knowledge you can get these days are from mouth to ear. The reason why the best information you can get these days is from mouth to ear is because school will give you the dots. They won't give you all the dots, but they'll give you some dots. And all those connections that need to be made, and then some, is going to take place from speaking to people who actually have experience. People with experience are going to empower you the most. So this would tell us that we have to surround ourselves with people who are experienced who have a great deal of success. I'll give you an example. You have people that have degrees, that are credentialed to give advice about relationships. And then you have people that manage to stay in relationships, like myself, for over 20 years with the same woman. Now, it doesn't mean the person with a 20-year experience can undermine or should undermine the credentialed information of the person who went to school for 3-4 years or 2. Because truth be told, what if someone stays in a relationship longer than need be on account of strenuous circumstances? So it doesn't necessarily mean a person's a master at relationships because they stayed in them longer. But the credentialed person, oftentimes we find, hasn't been in the relationship as long as the 20-year guy like me, the 20 plus years. I say we use them both, and that's how we connect the dots. But the person that's more likely to empower you with the connections is the person who's been in a relationship for over 20 years. Because school is not going to demand that you be in a relationship when you're learning about the psychology of it. Think about that. Isn't that interesting? You go to school, but you don't get, let's do this. Child support doesn't demand that the father has to give mandatory hugs, kisses, teach you how to ride a bike. None of that. Child support stipulates put up a certain amount of money. So in the same instance, when it comes to education, we're missing an exponential part of the doctrine, which is experience, and people are not really commissioned to the experience factor. So someone can study all of the mechanics, but they won't know the nuances because only experience can give you that. And so not only does school miss out on giving you that account, but it is purposely constructed so you can be employed by somebody else. The Rockefellers created the school curriculums. No one's going to teach you how to substantially achieve the same power that they have so you can become a competitor. Here's a word of advice. If a person offers you an opportunity to send them a contract so they can look it over, so they can decide if they're going to yield to your will, the question we must ask in this scenario is who's doing the offering? Because if I'm talking to somebody and they're saying they want to empower me, they want to create an opportunity for me, and then they tell me, set up the contract, then the reality is I would be negotiating against myself. How do you know that I would be negotiating against myself? I would be negotiating against myself by me, the one who's not doing the offering. By me, the one who's supposed to have the concessions made onto me. The one who's supposed to be the benefactor of the services rendered. Why am I giving them an idea of what I expect from them before they give me an idea of what they can give to me? So in that case, I would be doing what? I would be negotiating against myself. So rule number 1, you never take the contract. You never take the opportunity to give a contract to somebody who's supposed to render services onto you. They have to send the agreement to you. You don't say, hey, I'm going to send you my joint, and you look it over. Well, are you selling something to them, or are they selling something to you? You understand what I'm saying? So we want to be careful. So first things first, never negotiate against yourself. Because you'll mess around and you'll propose some ideas, and then someone will be like, wow, I was going to give him or her a whole lot more. But hey, we're off the hook. Let me add a few things I was going to do anyway, make me look good, and there you go. No, see what they're going to present to you, because now you have the opportunity to compare, contrast. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm going to commission you guys at some point or the other during this course to contact different insurance companies. I did this for a different course. We're just going to take it to another level. And then to compare and contrast what they all offer, and then create your own unique policy based on all the things you like that each one of them offers that are distinct from each other, and then contact them all again and see who comes as close to that new agreement as possible. You walking with me? So that's what you want to, that's the frame of mind we need to be in. So we're talking about taxes. And what we must understand, as I always say before, you guys know, I say from pre-K to 12th grade is 14 years of schooling. And in those 14 years of schooling, they never teach you about real estate. They never teach you about UCC and how prerequisite understanding the UCC code or the Uniform Commercial Code is to real estate. They never tell you about security agreements, purchase agreements, properties on assignment, amelioration and restitution. They never teach you about any of these things. They don't teach you about company structure, instruments, persons, entities, legal person, legal fiction, fiction. They don't teach you about these things, the personality of the company. We just wing it and get LLCs because it's a popular term. When America holds everything in trust, over 200 things are held in trust in America. Start from Social Security, which is a trust fund, your birth certificate's trust fund, your roads and the highways, trust. Everything's held in trust in America, and then everybody gets every other type of company structure except for trust. Look who's teaching you. When did the people who are responsible for the education say, hey, all we do is use trust? Why don't you? Okay, so here in it lies the truth. Here the lies in their truth. This is what I'm telling you. Taxes. I have to say all these things because if I were to sit down here and be like, listen, we got to focus on taxes. A lot of our people don't realize the significance of understanding taxation. And most people don't realize that taxes will be your fall. Everyone wants to learn how to make money, but no one wants to learn how to keep it. So I told you earlier that by the time you make your first million, it'll be on your second million, unless you was taught mouth to ear, virtually like this or from someone who has experience, know-how. Because many things are not taught in school. Many people say, I got a real estate license. And up to this day, I don't know what the hell that really means. People say this, I work in the banking industry. And there's nothing wrong with saying it. It sounds very fancy for someone to be a teller behind the glass. That doesn't stipulate they understand banking. What it does is suggest that you've been trained how to how to conduct withdrawals and deposits and wires. Okay? Work in the banking industry. Okay, you're the person we go to when we have our paperwork set to create a corporation. Okay? And then when it's time for us to come in with a trust in our hand and everybody starts going frantic, just that easy. So what we learn is everyone's being educated to perform on behalf of their employer. But they're not being educated to become the employee. So no matter what credential you get, you got to understand the level of education is compromised because they're giving you enough information that's compartmentalized from the whole. So you would not be able to use it for yourself for the sake of your own empowerment. So you must get the information from people that are already succeeded. These things are very important. I'm not giving you filler information. I have to say these things so you can realize the significance of why we have to execute and why I'm executing like this in this particular order. We go back to taxation. And I have to stress this because when I talk to the younger brothers that want to make this money, I say, well, first of all, bro, you got to get into the taxes. Nah, fam, I need to make this money. You're not understanding. I know I'm going to teach you how to make millions. I know this. I know this. Facts. I'm only a guy renting a restaurant in Dubai. I'm only a guy who hangs out with people who made hundreds of millions of dollars and even billions. After a while, some information rubs off on you. You feel me? If you're keeping up with my Instagram or my Facebook posts, You only can fake success for so long. The problem is many of us are not blessed with people who are privy to information and willing to share it amongst the rest of the masses. Or our well wishers, our advocacy, or our supporters. So when someone does, we kind of undermine it like, yeah, right. I'm not really getting the opportunity to learn some information most people don't know. A lot of what I'm saying, everything I'm saying for the most part, can be found from someone who knows. But the amount of books you have to peel through to get this resolved, to get this accumulation of knowledge, where it's not taking years to assimilate, that's a difficult part of this whole situation. So taxes, I teach like this on purpose. Because when I'm done with this, I want taxes to be your main focus. One of your priority focuses is taxes, insurance, trust, pensions, the Uniform Commercial Code. These are the things that's going to take you to the next level. These are the things that our people are totally oblivious to. These are the things that's going to take us to the next level. These are the things that our people are totally oblivious to. Now, I say that when you make your first million, it'll more likely be on your second million unless someone has empowered you with information that hasn't been divested to you by way of your teachers who have to follow the curriculum. School doesn't prepare you and say, you know, when you make your first $1 million, they're expecting at least around $350,000. And in other instances, 50 million. 50% of the million. When you make your first $1 million, they're expecting anywhere between 35% to 50% of that. And it don't have to be $1 million one shot. It could be cumulatively you made $1 million. They're expecting 35% to 50%. Think about that. And they won't tell you. They'll wait to see if you will round the corner to get a second million. Now, it doesn't mean that the $1 million is your marker. Because this means on your $100,000, they're expecting it on around 20 G's. Upward, a little lower, depending on the circumstance. But who cares? Well, I do. Because if we're going to be genuine, this is the part I never understood about other people that teach people things. I never understood how people teach other people about amassing wealth and don't have discussions about taxes and the significance of it thereof. I then question the credibility of the information that suggests they will teach you how to make a bunch of money, because you cannot get gold without having iron. And if we do an essay on the gold, after someone has been ignorant to these facts, we're going to sift through it and realize it's not 24K, because gold is always accompanied by iron. Iron in the human body needs B12 in order for it to be properly absorbed. Vitamin A needs carotene for it to be synthesized by the human body. Every element is coupled with at least one more element. You can never think of one thing without considering the other. So I can never teach you about amassing wealth without considering taxes. I can never teach you about real estate without considering the UCC. I can never teach you about insurance without considering pensions. You see how all of that came together? I can never teach you about insurance without considering pensions. I can never teach you about real estate without considering the UCC. And I can never consider teaching you about amassing wealth without first considering what? Taxation. To learn one without the other would be entrapment. Because I'm not teaching you to do anything small time. I'm teaching you to aim high. and strategic. I'm not teaching you to become $1,000 4 digits. I'm saying if I can teach you how to make 5 digits, then by default you're going to be a millionaire eventually. If I show you how to put 10 grand in your pocket and we can replicate that 10 times, that's 100,000. And depending on the amount of time you're able to replicate that, even if it took some years, there's no reason why you shouldn't be a millionaire. Because each time over, you should be able to add to your portfolio. I said this. See, that's why we need this type of class, because I'm more free. This is the country, the whole paper. We're going to get to the work. It's going to get real juicy when we get to the application part of the information. Well, we need a pep talk today. That's what we need. So you can understand where all of this is going. So you can appreciate what I'm talking to you about. So, you might not be able to see this little section right here. Right? This little section right here. Because this whole place, let's say just America alone. This whole place is America. Bless you, baby. This whole place is America. This is America. You know that song? Now, look at this little piece. This is the small group of people that are managing to make $150,000 a year. This is the rest of the group who makes less than $150,000 a year. So the marker for being able to amass wealth is at $150,000 a year. So the way I teach is, the first thing I got to do is get my people right here. First thing I got to do is get you to the point where you can make 150 grand a year. Because you're not able to really invest until you have earnings per annual at 150 grand upwards. This means the other 95% of America is failing. This whole section here is failing. Everybody's failing. Failures. That's what all these people are. Failures. These are the only people that manage to succeed. This is good news. Because if only this small percentage is succeeding, and this 95% is failing, then it stands to reason, based on mathematical deduction, it is more easy than it's ever been. It is easier than it's ever been in history to become a success. Because failures have a monopoly. Monopolies aren't fair a lot of times, but in this case, it's definitely fair. Failures have a monopoly on failure. There's no monopoly on success, because success is at 5%. So to fail in this society is very, very easy and very likely, because not applying yourself is part of this monopoly. It's very hard to actually fail once you have the right educational tools and resources. It's very, very difficult to not fail based on this. All you have to do is nothing. And you're a failure. Look at that. But the monopoly is on failure. So this means that with the right knowledge, it's extremely easy to succeed. Now, the nuance is, once you get here, how long can you stay here? Because failure is all so abundant. Failure is also abundant. And the people that control failure, right, have given you so much tendencies that when you become the success, you're very likely to come right back into here. People go in and out of this all the time. But most people never make it to here any day. But a lot of people tend to succeed. When they wind up back here, they don't go deep in there. They wind up right back in there because they've tasted success. They got enough knowledge of success that's easier to get back in there, because the monopoly is on failure. The monopoly is not on success. So I say this to say that it's very easy to succeed once you got the right working tools. What we have to be aware of, making the money will be very easy. Getting access to the money will be very easy. The degree of difficulty comes in with being able to keep the money. Because just like gold is always accompanied by iron, they never tell you the compatible partner to the information you beseech. They tell you about amassing wealth, but they don't tell you about taxes. They tell you about insurance, but they don't tell you about pensions. They tell you very little about real estate, as in the case of all those other things. But when they do speak of real estate, you don't have nobody coming up at 2 a.m. in the morning, hey guys, you want to make some money off of real estate? Wholesale markets are looking great. They don't never spill the beans on taxes. Never. And that's where the problem is. So, the notes you need to take right now. Watch this. Here's the notes you need to take right now. Show you guys something. Okay. Look at this. Let's see if it comes up. Okay. I know. I'm gonna get busy with this software for the weekend. I want you guys to see something, but it's okay. Right? 529 account. Those of you that have children. And the appendix to this course, that one will cost. It was a great idea given to me by a couple of my students. Is I'm doing a relationship that's inclusive of your children. That's inclusive of your significant other. That's inclusive of people that are single for the next time they get in a relationship. A finance a fiance course. Okay? I'm doing a course to teach your children how to make money. And you how to make money, or you how to teach your children how to make money. You how to work with your children on making money. And then separate from that, how to get the couple to make money as well. Okay? That's going to be a powerful one. Whether you single, be you in a relationship, or you have children. Your children can read or write, there's money out there for them. If your children can read or write, there's money out there for them, and I'm going to show you a plethora of ways to ensure that your children have income. This is what you're going to write. Write it with you. Take notes. 529 account. Under 529 account, see, I'm writing it. Under 529 account, 529 account, you're going to write this. Custodial account. Under that, you're going to write QRP. Under that, you're going to write what? Refinery account. Under that, you're going to write insurance. Okay? Okay. So you got those things written down. So right now, you have 529 account, custodial account, QRP, refinery account, and insurance. So you got the 529 account, custodial account, QRP, refinery account, and insurance. Just keep these notes. We're going to get into the refinery account Sunday. I just want you to have that in mind. The 529 account, remember we saw about taxes, and I said the second, when you make your first million, it's more likely going to be on your second million. Because that first million, they're going to take about 350 grand out of there, or more. Right, especially if you just have it sitting there. Well, you have the 529 account. This is better than your student accounts that they be having you set up. You don't walk in the bank and they say, would you like to set up a 529 account? They don't say that. But I say 529 account because that's a nice way to put monies to the side. If you're making a significant sum of money, you're able to put up to 250K there without worrying about your taxation. If you deal with the custodial account, that's an account you can set up for a minor. It's not age enough to really set up their own account. And if you set up a custodial account for your minor, then guess what? Very interesting. You can hold about 250 grand in there. If you got more than one child or more than one minor that you're responsible for, then let's say it's 2 children, you have $500,000 of space that goes untaxed. I'm saying it's a group of people of different races, or of a different race in particular, that does this all the time. They put their monies in different places. It's a tax shelter. It's a tax shelter. I'm just letting you know the places where 250 grand and lower are safe. So perhaps if you know enough venues to store your money legally, you may be able to reach up to $1 million untaxed. You walking with me? We read something in the Investopedia. It says, tax-deferred status refers to investment earnings such as interest, dividends, or capital gains that accumulate tax-free until the investor takes constructive receipt of the profits. The most common types of tax-deferred investments include an individual retirement accounts, IRAs. But the only difference is, because I talked to you about the IRAs earlier, the only difference is we are not going to use IRAs. What we're going to do is use QRPs, Qualified Retirement Plans, which is a cash and tax deferrable compensation arrangement plan. Cash and tax deferred. What do we mean by tax deferred? By tax deferral, what we're simply suggesting, or what they're suggesting, is monies, as far as tax is concerned, can be paid off in the future, or even at an indefinite time. So at the maturation of that particular agreement, taxes may be paid. And in a lot of instances, the taxes will be cheaper later than it will be now. Now you just have to find a way to create opportunities for you to defer your taxes. And then the only time you probably would be taxed, is if you access the tax deferred money. Now you have to be taxed for accessing the monies that's been deferred. So there's a science behind that. But the reality is, we have to come up with strategies so we have the opportunity to have more resources available to us as we grow wealth. So we can put those monies into something else. So you can pretend that you are paying taxes by the dollar and allocate those funds into investment opportunities. Okay? Again, if you don't realize the significance of paying taxes, it's all right. You'll realize the significance when you start making significant sums of money. And if I know that my goal is to teach you how to make significant sums of money, then what I'm not going to do is leave out the tax part. Because once you start having 10 grand in the bank, once you have $10,000 in the bank, it's significant. Okay? It's significant. She's good. So the QRP is a qualified retirement plan. It is a cash and tax deferred compensation arrangement plan. And by deferring taxes, we're talking about the opportunity to not have to pay taxes in real time, more rather to the ability to pay them off in the future. And one of the venues that allowed us this opportunity is the qualified retirement plan, which is a form of a pension. But it gives you more power and control over it. In fact, you get to behave as a trustee to your pension. So they don't penalize you when you say, hey, I want to take some monies out of this pension so I can invest it into this over here. Now, other opportunities and other retirement scenarios do accommodate for you purchasing real estate out your pension, but the penalization is so intense that when you conduct that distribution, that is to say to purchase real estate from your pension, that they'll let you do. They ain't gonna let you buy anything, but they'll let you get into a significant sum of debt if you want to take the monies out. But by the time you take the monies out, not only are you taking a hit pension-wise from the penalties of taking your own money out, or yeah, it's penalties taking your own money out. But then also, you take the hit for the investment that you make. So what that is, that's done to discourage you from taking anything out your pension. Another thing we have to consider is you're able to defer taxes if you're self-employed, if you are an entrepreneur. You may not like this information. I'm going to say this again. You may say, man, come on, man. Give me the make money part. We're going to do that. But I'd be remiss if I did not introduce these themes to you and tell you how integral this information is to your survival, to your ability to sustain wealth. We can't talk about amassing wealth unless we also want to talk about sustaining it. So just now, we may not have realized, some of us, that we found a place or two where we can put some money up. Plus, I'd rather a 529 account any day over a student account. Both of them are student accounts. This one is more accelerated. One is more sophisticated. One gives you more opportunities. We'll talk about that during the course where we empower the children and the parents. We'll do that. But what better way to empower parents than to make your children at preteens and teenagers wealth builders, adding income to the house. So when we're talking about deferring taxes, this applies also to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs would more likely and should more likely have, provided they've been educated properly from mouth to ear, because we don't expect school to teach us this, they would be taught to have a QRP. There's always what's given to you, and there's what you have to find. What's given to you is an IRA. What's given to you is the student account. What's given to you is personal savings account and checkings. These are the default things. What's given to you is mortgage. Okay? And the notes thereof. The bank works out to give you that. Was given to you some credit to mess up. But what you're not given is the knowledge to get funding because of credit. Because remember what we taught in the first course. What is credit? Write this down so you never forget again. Credit is privilege. Credit denotes the fact that this is a class system. You have to understand the system so you know how to maneuver. Yes, there's an attack against black people. It's all okay. All of that is okay, baby. She ain't crying, so it's heavily to hear her talking. Especially for so long. My goodness. She worse than me. So, that's right, Nefertari. Oh, she sees me. You know that's Daddy? Let me look at this chat. Hey, good to see y'all in the chat. Okay. Akali Ogar, peace to see you. Akali Ogar. Peace, family. Just looking to see who's up in that chat. Oh, I can see it. I'm on YouTube. You on YouTube? It may be the way you got the screen. Okay. Peace and love. Peace and love. Good to see you guys up in there. The chat room is going. It's great to see you guys up in there. Okay. I got the chat room right there. We good. So yes, deferring taxes has a great deal to do with being an entrepreneur. That's right. Not if you're working under somebody. So again, we talked about credit. Credit sounds a lot like it's the root of the word credibility. Creditability. We are in a class system where we deal with status and ranking. And when we looked up real estate, estate literally means status or rank. And we talk about getting lines of credit from estates. So in a class system, in a system dealing with ranking, real estate plays a pivotal role in where you rank in society. And how much equity you can take out of the property would be able to, you'll be able to leverage a certain ranking from estates based on your credibility in society. Hope you're walking with me. So in a class system, capitalism is a class system. It's very covert because they use credit as a medium to facilitate the same. So based on your score, you have X amount of privileges. So people say the middle class is privileged, the upper middle class is privileged. No, the people with the right credit scores are privileged. They're the ones, when all else failed, things damn near given to them for free. But not just from any type of credit, but we're talking about wealth score quotients. And we're going to get into that, and that's going to get very intense. When we start talking about the wealth score quotients, that's going to get real intense. That's a whole nother conversation. And that conversation I'm going to have for the children's course, because you need to teach your children credit. And by default, you'll learn it. So the child's credit course is going to be super amazing with a whole curriculum that you need to teach them, because we can't think the schools is going to get that done. That's just ridiculous. Okay? So entrepreneurs are entitled to what? Tax defers. Paying taxes at a later date. So why are so many entrepreneurs paying taxes? Why are so many people who are self-made have been audited by the IRS? Because of their lack of knowledge, their lack of know-how. That's why. That's why. So we will not talk about wealth or amassing wealth unless we're willing to talk about taxation. I have to do these things because, like I said, this is the slow part of the information, which to me is accelerated. Very powerful information. Showing you how to put up damn near, when this course is over, you'll know how to put up over $1 million legally, several places, to the benefit of your minors and your benefit as well. You'll learn how to defer taxes legally and the mediums that you should use to do so. The only problem is people are here thinking they're not going to make $1 million. That's light work. There's been over 650,000 new millionaires made last year. There was over 500,000 new millionaires last year. There's over 500,000 new millionaires last year. Over. Think about it. Why wasn't you one of them? See, that's how we got to do the math. All the while, it's still only 5% of the populace that's making 150 grand a year. But what we're seeing is more and more people are becoming millionaires. Now, due to hyperinflation, food inflation, and a volatile economy, $1 million isn't worth the same thing that it was worth 10 years ago, but no money is normally worth the same thing it was worth 10 years ago. Okay. But the reality is, $1 million is still a significant sum of money that many of us have never contemplated about touching unless we thought it was a dream. We never knew how to get to that goal. So let me have a conversation with you about how we're going to get to that goal and what you can look forward to for Sunday. Because I wanted this exhalation. Class 1 was the inhale. This class, you breathed out and you're going to take a deep breath after this class. So you can exhale when Sunday comes. Sunday, you will have your PowerPoint and you'll also have to take notes. Major. I'm also going to be on the internet sharing the URLs because we got to get to work. We got to get to work. Everybody, make sure you download that Kitco app. Those of you that have been walking with me when it comes to precious metals. You realize that something very significant took place. In fact, I was telling one of my mentees to pay attention. What's his name? Hold on. I'm going to show you right now. What's his name? Marcus. Definitely Marcus. I showed him this. I said, early Tuesday, prices hit an all-time high of $1,917.90 an ounce before pulling back to about $1,880. Gold can keep working its way higher, but it is starting to look a bit bubbly, said Matt Zimmerman, market strategist. Now, think about this. This was taking place August 22nd. Those of you that have been walking with me in regards to the precious metals, you know that gold was a little over $850. Top of the year. it was damn near $2,000 at an all-time high, August 22nd. Right now, gold is at about what? I'm at about 1,700. Where's it at? 1,500 right now, which is super high from that 800. So think about it: $850. Multiply that by 2, you get $1,700. Add 200 to it, you get where gold went. So you're talking about more than doubling your money if you bought gold. And if you kept buying gold by the ounce, every ounce would have gave you more than 2 times the amount that you earned. Where's it at?
15.28.
It's at 15.28. And how much cents?
60.
15.28 and 60 cents. Equally so, silver was at about $13. What's the asking price for silver right now?
$18.34.
It went back up again.
$18.34.
$18.34. So those of you who would have bought around the time where it was $13, $14, it doesn't normally go any lower than that. It's a great time because it's gradually escalating. And so what we got to understand is what's called the political polarization of global uncertainty. It's called the political globalization of, the political polarization of global uncertainty. The political polarization, the political polarization of global uncertainty. This means that everything from wars to new technology can cause a spike in economies or markets or exchanges. It can go up or down. Someone's always looking to use the cheapest metal to advance their agenda to bring in new technology or to create weaponry. When wars take place or talks of war takes place or new technology is made, the people making the new technology, when they need to use metals, they have a tendency to want to use the cheapest metals if possible. And thus, those metals become scarce when people are in a frenzy to purchase, and rarity constitutes value. So, this phenomena, which is inclusive of a number of things, is called the political polarization of global uncertainty. Those of us that watch the markets know that silver is no stranger to being around $31, $32. So when we see it at $14, we buy it every week. In fact, I encourage everybody that's here, even though I got to do a dissertation about this on Sunday, I'm asking everybody that's here now, be prepared to purchase it on Sunday, 2 ounces of silver, if you can. Hopefully it doesn't go up any higher. We missed the marker at $14, $13. That's a great marker, but 18 is still great. It's gonna go down. I'm gonna tell you that now, but it's gonna skyrocket. This is not a guess. The cheapest metal of them all always becomes the most expensive eventually. If you bought an ounce, 2 ounces every week, $36 every week if you could afford it. 1 ounce if you can. 1 ounce every 2 weeks. Doesn't matter. If you bought 2 ounces every week, then that means when a 365-day year scenario, your 365 becomes 730 days. Oh, pardon me. Your 365 becomes 700, in 30 days. I did that too quick. My bad. So yeah, I got it right. So 730 times, let's say silver goes up $100. You have 730 times $100. Somebody do the math on that. Write that in the chat. Come on, people. 3 digits and 3 digits. What is 730 times $100? Let's say silver goes up $100. Let's just say it goes up $100. And you've been buying 2 ounces of silver every week. You took out a little $36 every week. Don't ask me where do we buy the silver before you do the arithmetic, please. Give me the answer. Write it in the chat room, please. Write it in the chat room, please.
730.
We want whole numbers. What's it called? What's the dollar amount called? 730 sounds like a time.
$730.
$7,300? No, people.
700.
If there's 730 times 100, it's not going to be 7,300. Thank you, people. Come on, Big Rob. They gonna rob your ass big if you don't get them numbers right. There you go, 73,000. That's right. So, buying something at $18 an ounce and one day it goes up to 100 doesn't mean much. And then, we can cut that $73,000 in half if it's $50 on every ounce. Okay? Well, that goes up. But the reality is this. If I only bought 2 ounces of silver in my life, $36, and it goes up $100 for a day or two, like we saw when they was discussing gold at 1900, and now today present is 1500, which is a few days from when it was 1900, which means gold went up and went down 500 points or so. Went up 500, went down 400. It's going to go back up again. Imagine owning several ounces of something that winds up valuing $400 or $500 more than what you bought it for, and you have several ounces of it. But the reality is this: if I'm buying 2 ounces of silver every the reality is this, The reality is this. If I bought only 2 ounces of silver for the year and it went up $100, and I paid $18 for each one, but now it's now worth $118. Okay, I made $200. That's great. That's great. I call the refinery account and tell them wire the money over to my account because every refinery account should have your bank account. That's cool. But here's the issue I got with that. Here's the issue. Here's why I feel funny. It's a matter of quantity in this particular instance. It's a matter of quantity. Don't worry, on Sunday, we're not going to use David H. Phelps. We got something better. So I'm gonna point you out to the right refinery account. We're gonna get it in. The problem with the situation is this, family. Here's the problem. If I only bought 2 ounces of silver and then it goes up, yes, it's up 100 points. And I only got 2 ounces, then I made $200, right? There's no glory in getting that $200. There's glory in you being the tortoise that wins the race against the rabbit. Because the rabbit is rushing. Yo, let's buy these ounces, get out the way. And they gas out. The tortoise is like, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm going to pace myself. I'm going to buy something every week. Every week I'm going to buy something. If you are like me, you make money by the day, you might want to buy it every other day. You know, if you're making over $100 a day and you're able to access that $100 every day, you might want to take $18 out every time, buy a damn ounce of silver until it becomes a ridiculous dollar amount or a ridiculous amount of ounces. So that way, when the spike goes up, you'll be multiplying the spike by the amount of ounces that accumulatively became something that's worth your interest. Otherwise, keep stacking on. So silver's so cheap right now. If you already have physical silver in your possession, so that you send it into a refinery account. Yes, you should. Your money, your coins, your silver is safe in a refinery. If it's gold, they do an assay. No matter what it is, they'll test it. And when it goes up, you win. When that price goes up, it's gonna be amazing. But it in your possession means nothing. Because when it goes up, then they're gonna tax you for turning it in. You wanna buy it on the market within the confines of the refinery account that you're dealing with and translate it into currency per phone call. Hey, I need $300 out of my silver. You wanna invest in gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Palladium and rhodium, don't sleep on. But we wanna discuss that when you're making some real monies. Gold is tricky, but you always translate your silver into gold by accumulating silver and then saying, give me a gram of gold because I got enough silver to get a gram of gold but still maintain the integrity of my silver count. Those different approaches towards it, but it's gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium. These are the ones that you want to focus on the most. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium. You can invest in gas too, which is another interesting phenomenon. There's big money in that. And there's a Kitco, I believe, has a venue for you to also invest in gas, but that's a whole nother phenomenon. We have to have a whole class by itself on investing in gas, but it helps you make a significant sum of money. But Sunday, we're gonna get to it. Sunday, we gotta buy these ounces. That's the brother actually texted me. He actually purchased 20 ounces of silver yesterday. Because he was like, yo, I'm not missing this. His family bought 20 ounces. They was like, yo, this is just ridiculous. And that's nothing when you think about it. So I'm telling you guys, get started. You got an extra $180 on you, buy you 10 ounces of silver. And pay the little fee. And get in the game. And be proud of yourself. And sit there and be like, yo, I'm ahead. Because whatever it goes up is 10 times that for you. And the name of the game, again, is quantity. You want to accumulate enough ounces so that when it goes up inevitably, significantly, you can say, man, cash me out and leave the difference there. Because I still want to hold something. You want to cash everything out. You want to turn this over to your children, which is why you want to trust. So they can be beneficiaries of this. They say, yo, my mom and dad left me some silver. Let me tell you something. If my parents, we used to walk around with gold teeth and everything. Gold was available. This generation don't know nothing about going downtown Brooklyn and putting your gold teeth on layaway and your bone bracelets and the chains that turn into bracelets. It's so long you could pull a bracelet out of the chain. Yo, the X and O earrings that the sisters used to have, the finger with the 3-finger rings with the dollar sign and all that. We grew up in the transition of that era where gold was available. 14K, 18K, 24K. Sometimes these jewelers was lying and it was gold plated, and that shit start changing colors. You go back, you yell, and they said, look, we could gold plate it again. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry. You go, all right, fuck it, I gotta go somewhere today. I just gotta look like I'm blinking. So that's not available now. That transition had me under shock because I was walking like, yo. Then they came with rose gold. So they came with something more affordable during the transition, but still was expensive to us. It was kind of cool that rose gold had a run for about 2.5 years. It was a combination of white gold and yellow gold, something like that. It was rose gold. That's what we called it. I used to think it was fool's gold. Because I'm like, I just want the actual gold itself. And then platinum became more than silver, and more than gold. And platinum had a rush. Everybody had to get platinum chains and everything. And platinum was shiny, crazy. It was like shiny silver for us, super shiny silver. And then somehow, when nobody knows nothing about precious metals, gold is more than silver all over again. But people don't pay attention to these things. You download the KITCO app, Kitco, so you can monitor the precious metals. So I said I just wanted to have a nice build with you guys because presentations don't give me the space to kind of deviate a certain way so we can spread the information out. And believe me, all of this has everything to do with everything. All this has everything to do with trust, pensions, okay, and insurance. And so it's interesting. If my family would have knew about precious metals and they would have bought gold when it was so damn cheap, it's now $1,900, $1,500 an ounce. If I knew this when I was buying gold fronts, playing with gold, because gold is the most palatable element, means you could bend it to the most thinnest degree out of all the other elements. It's easier to bend. And it's a superconductor of electricity, so it's used for a lot more technology than most of us care to even think of. Because who used gold for technology? We're supposed to wear it, because that's how we was taught. Listen to me. We was buying gold for so damn cheap. I remember they used to put it against penny weights when I used to want to buy my chain. And you see how heavy it was against how much pennies, depending on how much pennies it was, then that would tell me how much I had to pay per each penny. That's how we used to learn when we was in the hood. And so gold was damn cheap, man. So cheap. For us to be buying, putting it in our mouth and around our necks, we wasn't wealthy. Because if I wore the same gold fronts today, them joints would probably be $30,000 right now. You feel what I'm saying? If I wore the same chain that I had, because I had a lot of gold fronts. If I wore the same chain, because back then, when you making money, your chain had to, like your pendant had to hit the table to stand like, boom. That say I was making bread. I had a heavy ass chain, man, with a cross. You know, we had to wear the cross. Wasn't no Jesus fanatics out here killing people, robbing, stealing, doing all that. We got Jesus cross. That's how I know that it's no good. You know what I'm saying? Because I had no conscience about nothing I was doing. I had that cross on. You would think. When I was young, I didn't want to spit on the floor of the church or the sidewalk for that matter. But I put on a cross and I was the damn devil. But that's another conversation. If I had that same jewelry to this day, now I went out my way to make sure it was 24K gold and it was heavy. Man, and forget that. With that gold being so cheap, I lived in an era where it was so available. Hell no, we couldn't afford no $1,900 per ounce. Nope. Are you kidding me? $1,900, $1,500 an ounce? You know how much a chain costs? At $1,500 an ounce? August 22nd, $1,900 an ounce? We was walking around with chains back then, switching them for other chains, fronts, switching them for other fronts, playing with gold, had the rings and everything, lit. Sometimes even putting that stuff on the rims of our car. If we had this knowledge and we just knew, get a refinery account and just invest. And one day, when gold is $350 an ounce, when it's $220 an ounce, yo, one day is polite. You may be paying $220 an ounce now, but you're going to be alive and still young. Not even old. You're going to be alive and still young to see the $220 an ounce turn into $2,000 an ounce. Think about that. Damn it, it kills me. So I'm not letting silver slip me. Because I'm alive today to see people don't give a damn about silver. Great. Let me grab it up. I'm not BSing you. Watch the Kitco app and you're going to see the fluctuation. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, rhodium. You need to pay attention to that because that takes no rocket science. You know what you got to do? When it goes up, people, cash out. Call them and tell you, send you your difference. Wire it. They got to do it within that same hour. When I say it, when I hang up the phone, my money's in the account. Because, you play when you practice. Hey, send me $10 out. So, let me see that. Send me $100. Send me $300 out. Because I want to make sure anybody playing. Because when payday comes, and it's time for me to cash out that 20 grand I did, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right? So we can't play games, family. There ain't no confiscation. These guys are private. When you're dealing with the right refinery accounts, you ain't got to worry about all that. All that scary talk, it ain't happened yet. And anybody that would have been dealing with the right information would have just made their money. We'd be over here banking on the collapse and doomsday, missing the money. Let's not miss the money. Get the trust and retitle the refinery account to the trust. Don't miss the money. Word. Word. Don't miss the money. Facts. Don't miss that money. Okay? So, the 529 account. Custodial account. Talk about just putting some money to the side and setting up a great future for your child. But you got that 250 grand crevice of space. Qualified retirement plan, cash and tax deferred compensation arrangement plans, great opportunity to defer your taxes. This insurance is important. Because if you stack your trust up with these types of accounts, QRPs, refinery accounts, and it's a performance taking place, meaning you actively are purchasing, so we can include that in the trust chassis that listen to me and listen to me carefully. We could put in the trust chassis that this is your income. And we could see that you're constantly buying and selling. And by buying and selling, we mean depositing and withdrawing. Because when you're dealing with precious metals, when you deal with a precious metals account, when you deposit money is considered your buying on the market, and when you withdraw money is considered your selling on the market. 10. Okay? No. Okay, so walk with me. So now, you should have these things on your paper. This one shows. You should have these things right there. Okay, should have that right there. And so, all of this is to set up to make the bread. Why? Because somehow, some way, I gotta show you how to get access to monies. If I spend a lot of money, somehow, some way, I gotta show you how to buy a tax deed or a tax lien for like $2,000, and the property's worth like $40,000, and they give you about 60% of the equity, and so you get about $12,000 out of that. And that's your revolving line of credit. And your trust winds up raising the equity because you own the property. So you got the deed to it. So the trust is worth 20 grand, but you got 12 grand out of it that you can access. That credibility, you're gonna take that money, you're gonna put it into a secure credit card. Maybe you're gonna put 5 grand into a secure credit card. So your 5 grand turns into a real 5 grand credit officially. Other creditors, look, someone gave you 5 grand, we'll give them 10. You get your 5 grand back that you put up after about 6 months or so. We gotta go through a whole strategy. It's gotta be step by step when we teach this. That's gonna be Sunday. We gotta get to this money, man. But once you get to it and you're able to move these pieces properly, it's gonna be a wrap. You have to create your own pension. You can't rely on these guys to make your pension because they're not being fair. They're not telling you about the political polarization of global uncertainty. They're not telling you about hyperinflation. They're not telling you about food inflation. They're not telling you that money's not going to be worth the same exact thing you're looking forward to retiring to. Therefore, it's going to force you into having to come out of retirement to work again or simply struggle. They're not giving you the power to use your pension in real time now. And most people working right now, around my age, 36, people that's 35, 34, people that's 42, really don't even understand pensions that much and how they're supposed to be able to leverage that money that's being accumulated for investments into their future. You need to be in control of your retirement circumstances, and you need to have the right to control the funds inclusive of those retirement circumstances so you can retire properly. You can't get to get access to the monies that you work hard for all these years when you get close to dying. It's like saying you're getting the better part of your recompense to do something with it when you're on the way out. And in that sense, your pension is becoming a mortgage on your life. And your insurance has become a mortgage on your life. It should be called death insurance for what we believe or conceive death to be. It should be called death insurance instead of life insurance. Because most of you ain't considering benefiting until you die. That's no good. You feel what I'm saying? That's no good. So we got to address these things in a chronological order, tactfully. I'm going to say step 1, this is what you do. Step 2, this is what you do. Step 3, this is what you do. After you get that money, you're going to do this with that money. Step 3, once you get that money, you're going to do this with that money. And we're going to go right down the line so everyone has the same formula. That's not rocket science, so you don't have to be able to read difficult charts and master algorithms in order to be able to learn how to make money. It's not that deep. It's a lot of idiots out here making more money than you because they just found their niche and someone told them how to do something the right way. And here you are, brilliant. And that's why I say I'm too smart to be broke, because I look at the type of people making money today, and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. And in fact, most of the people hiring people to do the jobs for them don't know the job as much as the people that they hired. They just paid for the opportunity because they had the credibility. Because real entrepreneurs, when it comes time to doing dirty work, which is called spending, they're leveraging the equity of their trust. They're using insurance monies. They're getting revolving lines of credit. They're blowing up credit cards. They're not using liquid. They're translating all that into liquid. And furthermore, we learn to control everything, own nothing. So nothing's in their name. So their net worth has to be based on guesstimations, as they say. And they have to value the price of cars and homes and what most likely is in the account based on earnings and in retrospect to what has been accounted for. Because wise people know control everything, own nothing. People pride themselves in being off the grid. And that's okay, but you got to know how to be off the grid while remaining public. So one hand must wash the other. And that's why I taught people how to make, for instance, an LLC public and a trust private. And everything that's rendered on to the LLC, how to take those, when the revenue becomes hard assets, the hard assets become beholden to the trust. And that's how the trust gets to keep his hands clean and don't touch nothing going on in the public. You don't touch the money, you just touch what the money created. And we're doing all these things for tax shelters, and then we're limiting liability. So they don't tell you, if you really want a limited liability company, if you really want an LLC, then you need another company to assist it. So one company is limited in liability because the other company got its whole neck out there. So if that one has to take the bullets, if that one has to be dissolved, if that one has to be held accountable, the parent company remains to produce another offspring with a personality. Real terms I'm using now. But to just have the LLC out there is a damn lie. Limiting the liability of what? Limiting the liability of the company it protects and serves. So it has to be two persons involved. And by person, we mean company. By company, we mean corporation. By corporation, we mean entity. By entity, we mean fiction. By fiction, we mean legal fiction. By Legal fiction, we mean person by person, we mean legal person. All synonyms. This is the game that they play. So you gotta learn how to act in your majority. You gotta behave like you know how to spend this money without needing an unofficial liaison. So you won't be rendered what's called a homo commendatus, a person that's too incompetent to do or fulfill adult tasks. So they need third parties to come in and show you how to save your retirement money. Show you how to put money aside for your children. Show you how to make investments. We'll make the investments for you. We'll create the trust for you, and we'll do the investing on your behalf, and we'll send you 1.2% or less every year of all the money that you're making because you don't know how to do it your damn self. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I want to wear my hat backwards and sideways just to prove a point. The people that wear their hats like this can actually know more than the people who wear no hats at all. Know more than the people who wear ties and suits. A lot of this is warfare, so I have to play my own warfare too. Aside from the fact that wearing the hat to the front was making my eyes look too dark. The reality is, I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I want to wear this hat sideways to see if I can defeat the ignorance in people that say, why am I listening to this guy talk about making money where he wears his hat sideways? Well, oddly enough, people say, yo, you know, like you sound like Jay-Z a lot of times when you're doing your interviews. Interesting enough, this black man has made $1 billion. All the while he was wearing his hat backwards and sideways. So I'm just one like, yo, listen, who am I to mess up tradition? If he made $1 billion and he's wearing his hat sideways. We're going to start off with that and get into all the technical parts immediately after. We're going to start from the most easiest things we can do to emulate, and then we're going to follow everything else. But all jokes aside, family, 100 years of school right here. Thank you, family. Thank you, family. Big Rob, thanks, man. Appreciate you. I'm looking at the chat. Y'all got some questions in the chat. I'll take some questions now. You feel me? I'll take some questions now. On Sunday, we will have a phone number for you guys to call that will serve as the hotline because I want you to call and ask me some questions, man. You know, if we have time, because the amount of stuff I do got to teach Sunday is going to be berserk. It's going to be bananas. Vegan, though, the baby bananas or the red bananas, the Ecuadorian ones. Yeah, that's high in antioxidants, right? And also vitamin C and vitamin B6. It also improves the condition of the heart. It helps with digestion, as it is also high in fiber. And this has absolutely nothing to do with everything and everything to do with nothing. Think about that. Because wealth is health. I don't say health is wealth. I say wealth is health. Because in this lifetime, you're going to need enough money to afford the right dietary regimen. It's true. We got to unlearn. We got to actually, that's why I say in my books, we got to learn how to learn and teach how to teach. So don't be a stranger if you need to get any consultations. Because you still may need the technical assistance, because everybody needs coaches. Never ignore the fact that you may need a coach or mentor or advisor. Get me while I'm hot. I'm cooking right now. I'm doing my thing. I'm very excited. If you've been following my Instagram and my Facebook posts, you'll see I got a lot of great things going on. I'm glad I got this opportunity to build with you guys today. Believe me, I just wanted a nice class that's a medium between class 1 and class 2. If I could call class 3 another name, it would be class 2B. Because this is filler content that's very valuable, so you can make connections between what we established in class 1 versus what you're going to establish from hearing where we're going and why. So again, I'm not just going to teach you how to make money. I'm going to teach you how to sustain it, preserve it. We're going to have in retrospect the fact that it's easier to succeed now, more so than it's ever been, on account of the fact most people are failing. And we established the reason why they're failing. It's because they don't have the educational tools nor the resources. Doesn't necessarily have to be money. It's the knowledge that's conventionally spread from mouth to ear, because curriculums will not provide for opportunities for you to become an entrepreneur. Because in being an entrepreneur comes many benefits. Okay, so you're gonna have to be autodidactic. Autodidactic means you have to learn how to learn outside the auspice of the conventional classroom forum with the teacher and the students and the chairs. You got to be able to be self-taught in order to survive. All you have to do to not become amongst the 95% of people that's failing is to just get access to the information that you don't find in school. One, you have to know they don't have it in school for you. You have to know that. Doesn't mean you can't succeed if you go to school at whatever endeavor you have. It means when we talk about making money, school's one of the worst places to learn. Learning about money may be a different scenario. Getting a job where money is involved is a different scenario. Yeah, you can get into real estate. Yeah, you can get into the banking industry. Yes, you could become an accountant. Yes, and get a job being an accountant. Hopefully you get hired by somebody that helps you pay your bills, and being an accountant is off and on job sometimes, depending. There's a lot of credentialed people out here just hoping that they can get put on. We don't want you to hope you be put on. We want you to put yourself on by having the knowledge, because remember, 95% of the people in this world have a monopoly on failure. This is perfect. This means to be a success, all you have to do is deviate from what they do, which is almost absolutely nothing, to gain momentum. It's great for you right now. I promise you this. It's perfect. If you have this perspective, it's going to be easier to do what you do. So I needed a class also to give you perspective, because when you gain perspective, it's going to be easier to operate and execute. Facts. Hands down. When you say transfer to the trust, when the money becomes hard assets, do you mean like the company netted 100K? Go buy a piece of property and retitle it to the trust, or something like that? Great question. We talking about if the LLC makes the money, it could get into an agreement that every hard asset by default is rendered property of the trust. So in that instance, you won't make the trust buy it. You make the LLC purchase it. So to the naked eye, it's owned by the LLC. But then when someone ensues you in an endeavor to take that property from you, they have to look up the UCC filing to realize that, hey, this is property of the trust. This is a form of a perfected claim. And this is how you diffuse the presumption of the item sonens. This is how you eliminate the conditional interest. I believe we covered this in section 1 of this. It's going to come back up again. It's a very great question. Luther, man, that's dope. I'm glad you came in. Getting those texts to make sure you get this class. I'm glad you in here. It'd be an atrocity if you didn't come in here after all them damn texts. It's great. Brother Polite, can solar gazing fix the eyesight? Let's talk about that in a different stream, just to be safe, because our people pay to get focused right here. Duke, LLC plus corporation retitled to the trust. Well, LLC is the corporation. And you're not going to retitle the LLC to the trust. You're going to set up a financing statement to establish the relationship between the two of them. Everything else therewith will be retitled. Or, by default, be rendered onto the trust. Yes, you definitely can have a trust for your children. You definitely can. lighting looks a whole lot better than from what I looked at. That's cool. Yes, we're going to be giving you a very great refinery account that you can use. Got you. Yeah, that looks right. That angle had looked up. Yeah, that looks good. I got it because I'm looking at it. This is pretty good. It's real good. I'm going to get the webcam, though, and hook it up. It's the next thing. I just didn't want to deal with no chaos. Take this thing in steps. I didn't want to be all late. Okay, guys. My bad, man. It's of the utmost importance. Luther, you good money. I ain't mad at you for ensuring that you get to class. Know the time, the dates, and everything. I'm not mad at that at all. Will you give a step-by-step on starting a trust on Sunday? I will now. It's a question that will be addressed. That's how I find out what to do. You just gave me an idea of how to approach the beginning of class. So yes, we'll do that for you. I'll take a special note, actually. I don't need to write no note. I'm up here with it. Am I bringing Brother Lawan back on? Actually, Brother Lawan was supposed to be on today. And I couldn't afford to sit here and postpone class. So we have to keep the show going. All right? I cannot be here attempting to postpone twice. So, and he's yet to answer his phone. So, hey, what are we going to do? I have no idea. Nonetheless, it's been a phenomenal show. It was fun. And like I said, have no fear. This class does not stop until I and you are satisfied. When I see the type of questions, we want to exhaust certain routes and information to ensure that you guys can get up and running and do what you got to do after. So yes, a trust. Number one thing I will always tell you to do, get a trust as soon as possible. No matter what you do, that is the single most important thing you ever spend your money on. The trust, as we do it, is $675, standardized, irrevocable trust, and it is $1,350 for the life insurance irrevocable trust. Okay? You're talking about accessing 6 figures, minimum 5 figures upward on a continual basis. You gotta get the trust. You don't have to buy it from us now. Okay? Our trust is just designed to cater to a lot of our stratagems. But if you come with a trust, we'll still work with you and tell you and give you good direction. You feel what I'm saying? And you still can make this information applicable every day of the week. It's just the way we engineer our trust. We're able to do a little something. And plus, it's going to be cheaper because you ain't going to go nowhere to get this type of work done and get a trust set up for you. And it's not going to cost you $5,000, $10,000. Or some people are going to say, we only do it if you funding the trust at a minimum $50,000. What we do, we create the shell and we get the ball rolling. But again, whether you come with one from someone else and or we create one for you, in either event, the work will be done. Turn no man or woman behind. Leave no man or woman behind. Okay? So that's the single most important thing you do. Because everything else, we're going to find slick ways to make you the money. We're going to find very slick ways to make you guys the money. Okay? So you walk with me on that. I won't be going over the stocks and bonds information, at least not for Sunday. But if we want to play around with that information in stocks and bonds, we could do that when we're closing out on the economic portion of this particular class. Yes, we will also go over land trusts. Thanks, Big Rob, again. Jim Davis, see if you could reword your question real quick. You might be missing some words. I don't want to jump the gun. Reword your question real quick, Jim Davis. I'm going to look out for it. The trust is irrevocable. So once you get it done, you get it done. You can leverage the existence of one into another, yes. But as far as it completely transitioning, no. So we're not going to convert the standard trust into a life insurance trust. That's not going to happen, to be honest. What we can create a viable enough opportunity where the life insurance trust that gets erected is a continuation of the agenda. In other words, the previous trust could have met its maturation and is a way to take advantage of the previous performance. Do you need assets first to create the trust? I love that question. Businesses first. That's why I'm going to show you the importance of setting up a precious metals account. Perhaps a tax lien account. We need to get to it. Last name. Hashtag strong class. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Page music. Thank you. That's my baby. Very talkative tonight. Hey, baby. All of my children have been raised to me teaching. From the time they was in the womb to when they come out. Thanks for keeping in tune with me, Nefertari. Thank you for watching class. You were somewhat a distractive influence, but you did good overall. There was no crying. He was just excited. He was like, that's daddy. Learn to sit up. Okay. I may have to rewatch the playback. Missed the first half of the live. Is the HELOC to credit line tactics covered already? No, it's not. Carl Blanchard, Sunday is the day we're going to go into it thoroughly. So you didn't miss much when it came to that. I was just giving a mild overview of what we will be talking about in depth. Aboriginal King, thank you so much. What I'm going to do next time, when I get to this portion of answering the questions, I should be able to share that YouTube screen. Pardon me while I play with this real quick with you guys, because that would be phenomenal for me to learn that. Wow. I have a consultation coming up right now in person. Facts. And then after that, I'm all y'all. In like 10, 15 minutes, I got a physical consultation. Never stops. I'm just glad that we didn't postpone this class. I'm very proud of myself and proud of the people that's so committed to this. It gives me a lot of purpose. I'd be actually excited to do class. I just wish I knew I was doing it today. Mm-hmm. Just luckily for me, it's up here. Yeah, Siobhan. You don't need to rock with David H. Files. They're good. If you already have one, you rock with them. But we got something that's giving us a better opportunity, so we're going to go in that direction. Thanks, family. Daryl Duke, thank you. Good business, King. Appreciate it. Brother Polite, does it matter how much coverage the term life policy is worth, or do you just get more than one to have them all add up to 100,000? You don't have to get more than one. That's why we talk about assigning the trust to the insurance policy. We're gonna go through the particulars like I never have before online because there's so much to cover. I like to have a classroom setting where I could really dissect the different parts of that information. So last name, we're gonna deal with that. We're gonna definitely deal with that. Did it cut? Because yours is doing that too. Okay, we back on. Mine's did the same thing just now. So last name, yeah, we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna take a special notice. Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Let's see. We're going to say use. No, I don't think I gotta use Chrome key. I don't think I gotta use Chrome key. Add capture. System capture audio. Built-in audio. No, we don't want the screen capture. Screen capture. Add. Window. Configure. Is this Google Chrome? Let's see if Google Chrome is it. Okay. All right. Watch me get it in, family. Okay. Watch me buy. Y'all should be able to hear me now. Y'all hear me? Y'all should hear me now. I'm back on. Yep. Okay. So now this test is just getting a little out of control. But you see I'm working here. I'm working. I want to show you guys the chat. I gotta find out why it does that. Why is it still doing it? It's doing like an infinite amount. Well, you know what? Freak this. That was fun. That was a was great. We got that off. Boom. Should be back to work. Back to work. I'm getting there, people. I'm getting there. When I sit down and I really get to this software, woo-hoo! Hopefully this Sunday, I'll be doing some Illmatic stuff where I could just have I want to have the whole website just there streaming background while I'm just there. I want to walk on the web page like, click this right here. That's going to be it. It's going to be fun. I mean, that's my techie. So once I get her by my side, see, I got to show her. This normally happens our whole life. I introduce her to the whole vibe, and then she takes the vibe, and she starts doing all the slick stuff and the tricks. She did that with websites, everything. So that's what we got to do. File your security agreement and your trust first. 13th November. 13th November. Somebody just was telling me on November 13th on Instagram. One is the same person. But anyway, don't worry. I got the volume back, right? Yes, you can roll over the 401k. Farida Omar. You can roll over the 401k into a QRP by just having the QRP. They call it rolling over contributions. Okay, you could do so without penalty. You could do so without penalty, all right? Okay. So we'll close out. I got so much to do. I get ready to do a consultation. I would have stayed here a little longer, honestly. But I'm gonna sit down and master this thing. At least the quality is a lot better. We're getting there. Sunday, we're gonna put in some work. I'm gonna set the time. I'm gonna do class Sunday. I'm gonna do it Monday. I might want to take Sunday out to sit down and really go through this so I can give you the best experience possible with information. And might need to have a second person logged in, and I want to practice so I can have the second person pulling up the slides and, going to work. So I got to find out how to get that going, because I'm sure I can have an administrator here on a different page, and then I don't have to be stopping what I'm saying to manually do some work to provide some illustrations and everything. So if I can get that going, that'd be great. So maybe Monday would be a great time. Let's go for Monday. What's the best time? I'm gonna get a poll from you guys that's in the chat right now. What's the best time on Monday for you guys? Is 6 p.m. Eastern time good? Is 7 p.m. Eastern time good? Is 8 p.m. Eastern time good? Monday, what time is best? 6, 7, or 8 Eastern time? Y'all text me. I know people gotta go to work, but I'm gonna get a consensus of what time. 12 p.m. Eastern. 6 is best. Come on, people, give me some times so far. 12 p.m. No. We're not going to go that early. 6. I got another. Most people are saying 6 so far. 7. Okay, 7 is starting to catch up. 7 is gating on them. Whatever one is the one I see the most right now, that's the time we're going to go for. 8 o'clock, we got Corey like, yo, let's do 8. Yeah, I would do Sunday, but I want to master this thing. I want to have more to present to you, more 6s. Okay, got another 8 o'clock. Got a 9 o'clock finally. I'm gonna do the one that's most available to the people that's on this chat right now. Hey you. Hey you. Hey. You're so happy. You're so happy. Okay. You gonna be cool? Hey, you gonna be cool? You gonna be cool? You gonna be cool? 8 o'clock, 7, 9. 8 p.m. for the 9 to 5. Okay, 8s are starting to hit. A lot of 7s now. You might have to roll with the 7 o'clocks, right, baby? Yep, the trust structure we have is appropriate for you, my good brother from Canada. Yep. All right. So to be fair, it looks like, so we can get closer to the 8 o'clock wishes and the 9 o'clock wishes. 6 and 7s is the most popular, so we'll more or less do 7 o'clock. You okay? What happened? What's going on? Come here. Hey, come here. What's up? What happened to you? What happened to you? What happened? Huh? What happened? What's up? You okay? Wanna look over there? Look at that. That's you right there. You about to do that in front of everybody like that? You about to do that in front of everybody? You wanna wave? You gonna do that in front of everybody? Come here, go ahead, Mom. You fronting. You was good the whole class. Come here. Go to Mommy. Go ahead, go to Mommy.
She's tired.
Yeah, she is.
You coming?
Okay, there's my consultation downstairs. All right. Okay, so we'll do 7 Eastern time. Some of y'all voting twice, laugh out loud. Big Rob, you caught him, huh? I didn't even realize that. Dang, y'all worse than the Russians manipulating the American votes. Let me find out. All right, so I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We're gonna close out. I gotta do my consultation. And then make sure I keep my word and do movie night with the family. Peace to the family. I love you so much. Thank you.